Hey guys, so it looks like there was an attack in Edmonton on Saturday, and luckily there was nobody that was killed. And it started off by this one guy in like a white Malibu that hit into a cop, made him go flying with his vehicle, and then later got out of his vehicle and then started like stab the guy, right? And somehow the guy like fended him off and scared him away, and now the officer's like okay, he didn't suffer any like severe injuries, which is surprising. I watched the video, and he got thrown pretty far, and there was even a few pedestrians there that just kind of watched it, didn't really help, didn't really do anything. I was like, well, you should have like beat the guy over the head with a pole. There was a lot of things laying around, you could have helped. But nonetheless, he got away, and then 4 hours later he got in a U-Haul truck and then tried to ram people over with that, right? And luckily he just injured the people, but there is one person in critical condition, but hopefully they make it and they don't suffer too serious of injuries. But even though none of them died, like, injuries are still a big deal. If somebody had their leg crushed, like that, their whole life could be completely changed forever, right? Maybe some of those people had careers in athletics, now that's completely ruined. So even though people didn't die, that's still a fucking big deal. And we know this guy was Muslim because they found a fucking ISIS flag in his vehicle. And even a day before this happened, a Muslim publication or news channel or whatever posted this thing telling people from France, England, Belgium, whatever, to go and bomb, kill, run over, and slash the throats of the kuffars, etc. So, clearly this already happened in France today. 2 women had their throats slashed as well, and they're considering this a terrorist attack, which I guarantee it was. And then there was this, right? So, we have people like Trudeau and stuff coming out and saying like, oh, diversity is our strength and don't let them divide us, blah blah blah. But this is all just fucking nonsense. This doesn't help anybody. Like, he's just going to keep importing people like this, that, and we don't know if this guy was a refugee. We don't know if he was a Canadian-born citizen yet because they haven't released his identity. But it doesn't really matter, right? If you believe in Islam, your chances of being a terrorist are just much higher than anybody else. Like, I'm sorry to say, like, if you believe in an ideology that has martyrdom, you have a higher chance of committing martyrdom, right? So this isn't very complicated. Now, Trudeau's going to keep repeating, diversity is our strength, diversity is our strength, and he's going to keep letting people into the border from America come in. He's going to keep like bringing people from Syria and all these other places to come into Canada. So it's like these events are going to continue to happen. We just got lucky, right? This isn't like, these terrorist attacks are not if. It's not if they happen, it's when will they happen, right? It's all about when. And by increasing the number of Muslims in your country, you're just increasing the likelihood of things like this happening. These are just facts, right? You look at the majority of Muslim attacks or terrorist attacks happen in Muslim countries, and we don't cover those enough. I think that the Western countries do kind of majority ignore when that happens. Like, when there was that metro attack in England, a lot of people, they got injured, right? But there was another attack, I think in, I forget, in the Middle East somewhere. See, I can't even remember it, but Iraq or Pakistan, where there's like 50 people died, right? So I think we need to also show empathy, more empathy to them, even though, yes, Muslims are the ones who are committing these crimes. They are also the ones which are the victims of it. And the majority of Muslims are good people, right? They're good people. They don't want to hurt you. I disagree with their religion. I disagree with most religions because I'm an atheist. But it's just, you don't want to, we can't keep increasing the chances of these happening. And unfortunately, it's just a higher chance with them. And, we'll be much better off helping them in their own countries. We should not be increasing the Muslims within our own countries. And we should be securing the border instead of just letting people in like Trudeau is right now. Because we don't know. Like, they are screening these people, right? But even though you screen some people, you could some things can get by. Even though some people are squeaky clean, doesn't mean they're not bad people. It means they probably just got away with shit. So, it's, you know, I think I predict these things happening more. We got lucky this time. And the police, this guy was known to police too. So, we often, this is a pattern with the majority of the terrorist attacks that have been happening over the past year or so, or even longer, that all these people have been known to police and they have been on watch lists and etc. So either we're not putting enough resources in that as well, like we should put more resources than that, but at the same time we should not be increasing the amount of potential terrorists within our countries. And once again, I'm not saying all Muslims, the majority of them are not, but even despite terrorism, there is differences in culture, etc. that we don't, like that one lady in that plane a little while ago that got taken out because she's like, oh, I have a dog allergy. Like, no, that's just, she just doesn't like dogs because that's within the religion of Islam and stuff. Like, they just don't like dogs. So it's like sometimes cultures, you know, diversity isn't always a strength. You know, sometimes people just don't agree, and that's why they segregate or separate. That's why you see a lot of Muslims who try to live together, a lot of Christians who try to live together, you know, because they all agree on shit. So if you get a bunch of people who disagree on a bunch of shit, they're all just going to self-segregate eventually anyways, right? So, you know, if you look at South Korea or whatever, they're a fairly homogenous population. They have like very low crime. I'm not saying that's because of it, but correlation doesn't always equal causation. But I don't know. I think people who disagree with each other are more likely to have conflicts with each other. So, Trudeau can say diversity is the strength all he wants, but that's not going to stop the terrorist attacks that are going to continue to happen in fucking Canada. And saying, oh, we're going to stand with Edmonton. This is what happens every terrorist attack too. So, oh, we stand with people. Let's change our flags to this flag. Blah, 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 blah. This does nothing for nobody. Okay? We need actual solutions to these things. Now, people say, oh, more people die from car crashes and accidents like this than terrorist attacks. What are you worried about? Are you scared of death? It's like, no. It's like, first of all, you wouldn't be saying this if it was your mother. It's like, let's just say a terrorist comes to the country and you're one of those people who say that, and then your mother gets killed by a terrorist attack. Do you really want me to come and say, like, hey, man, more people die in car crashes. Why are you crying about your mother dying in a fucking terrorist attack? Right? It's people who can't have, like, they look at people as statistics and they can't think of just like individuals. You know, when one person dies, when you bring in, like, let's say 10,000 people and one person dies because of one of those 10,000 people you brought in, like, I don't know. I don't know if that's really worth it to me, especially because I consider, especially if it's your own citizens, you know, we have no obligation to take in people from all these other countries. So, you know, I feel more obligation to my own citizens, right? If one of my own citizens dies because of people we bring into our country, then, you know, that's not good. And if they were worse, if those people would have been worse off in their own country, you know, that's better than them coming to my country and killing somebody, right? I would rather, honestly, I'd rather like 100 Pakistani people stay in their own country in a shit situation than have them come to my country and kill one person. I'm sorry to say. So, you know, people have to take more responsibility for their own country sometimes and then make it better themselves, right? And it's just like in America with people coming across the border, all this shit, taking stuff from America, like the Mexicans and shit. It's like, go back to your own country and make it better. Don't come to my country and make it worse. So, you know, this is really the only thing that we can do to prevent these types of attacks. It's just reduce the amount of Muslims in our country. I'm not saying kick them all out, but we should stop importing more of them in. But that's all I pretty much had to say. See ya.